Now, you probably noticed that I messed with the format of the vlog last week, which was both necessary and a little bit cheeky. There was a certain integrity between the idea presented in the vlog and the execution, which is important to me, but there was something else behind that. I felt like I needed to break the shape of what was forming. See, I started to feel a growing expectation to outdo myself every week, which is fine. I'm a big fan of healthy competition, but I also felt like this was the beginning of me caring more about what you thought of these videos as opposed to me caring about the process of making these videos. So I had to break it up. I had to reframe the game. I had to reset to show all of us, not just to listen to, not just to trust, but to act in accordance with the tide that drives our lives, to be courageous enough to follow the flow of what we know, even if it means disrupting ourselves, to give ourselves to ourselves when we need to. Cool? Let's begin. I had a very full week finishing up the last of my big events for the year. One of them had a white baby grand, one of them had a beautiful bayside view, and one of them was just pure rock and roll. Phil and I headed south for a gig and managed to squeeze a few tubes. Sick, eh? Like double overhead, man. Glassy ads, spitting barrels, dude. You should have been there, man. And of course, I found plenty of sunshine. For those of you who are partial to the odd feel-good Facebook meme, you might remember 7 years ago, the Washington Post and a guy named Joshua Bell ran an experiment. And Joshua is one of the finest, most recognized and most highly regarded violinists on the planet. They set Josh up in an arcade just outside of a train station in Washington, DC to busk. He played a series of pieces on a $3.5 million violin for 43 minutes. 1,097 people walked past, 7 stopped to listen, and he made a grand total of $32. Amazing story, right? Now, a few short weeks after they released this story, a bastardized version appeared online and has since been circling the internet. This overly simplistic synopsis of the story positioned the core premise of the performance as highlighting the tragedy of humanity in modern life. That our busyness is robbing us of the beauty that's available to us in the moment. That we need to stop and smell the roses. And despite that being a nice enough sentiment, that certainly wasn't the original intent of Joshua Bell or Gene Weingarten, the editor from the Washington Post, who dreamed and schemed this whole experiment. What they were actually interested in exploring was the power of context. They wanted to test the hypothesis that does the space that someone or something exists in inspire and inform or affect our experience of it? Does the physical or contextual environment that surrounds an artist or a performance or an idea affect how we perceive it? For example, would we recognize a Monet, a Picasso, or a Pollock if it was held in a tacky frame, hung on a careless tilt, and hidden in the back of a bus station cafe? Probably not. There's a reason we see opera in a grand old theatre. There's a reason we see film in a dark, cool cinema. There's a reason we sink into the sacred silence of a library and somehow feel smarter just having been there. So what is the point that I'm making? Content, it seems, is accentuated by the context that it lives in. For all the talk of why, how is actually an invaluable tool for impact and influence across every facet of our work and life. Nowadays, how we present information is just as important as the information itself. The atmosphere that surrounds an idea will greatly enhance or detract from its intent. If we want our work to be understood, to be valued, to be appreciated, or even celebrated, we have to present it in a way that elevates its essence. If you're a content creator or a consultant, an entrepreneur or an executive, a business owner or an employee, if you hope to have more impact, if you want to cut through, if you hope to linger longer in the minds of those you're hoping to move, be sure to design the atmosphere that surrounds your brilliant ideas. Consciously engineer the space that will enable your work to be heard in the way it's intended, to be heard in the way it deserves. Know what I mean? I'm on my way to meet a friend slash client an hour away from where I live. Now, originally we had planned to meet somewhere close to the city. I got a message last night, Sunday night at 9:30 p.m. Hey, is it cool if we meet here instead? Now, it's an hour, a bit over an hour away from where I am. And it was last minute, and I've got other plans after that meeting and all this stuff. So what? I'm the one that wants some time from them.
So I will meet them anywhere, anytime that is convenient to them. I see this a lot with young entrepreneurs. They just don't seem to get it. If they want my time, they want to bounce ideas, they want to catch up with me, and then they offer a place to meet, which is right around the corner from where they live, at a time that suits them. I think there's something that's been missing in the communication. If I want someone's time, if I am going to take them away from what they'd normally be doing, or I want to bounce ideas, or I want to sell something to them, I'll meet them at midnight on a Tuesday, 4 hours from where I live, if that's convenient to them. It's not just a common courtesy. I think I don't know, it's just old school how you do it. We need to bring that back, people.